All right, so we are going to stick with slope-intercept form. So there's kind of two ways you can do this. Now, if you want, we can go and change this to slope-intercept form, and that's what we're going to do for these four problems. So we're going to take the equation 5x minus 4y equals 4, and we're going to try to get y by itself. It's kind of like when we were doing literal equations with two variables, okay? So I want to get y by itself. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5x from both sides. Okay, so basically all I'm doing is moving the 5x over. So if it's positive over here, it's going to wind up negative over here. All right, so that cancels out. Then I got negative 4y equals, now I always like to put this first, because remember that's going to represent my slope, and the 4 is positive, right? Now I'm going to take that negative 4 and divide it out, because I want to get y by itself, right? Now remember, when I do the negative 4, I'm going to do it to both of the terms. It's very important. So I'm going to have y equals, well, I have negative 5 over negative 4. That actually is a negative over negative, would really be 5 over 4. So there's my slope, right? And then 4 negative 4. Well, negative 4 goes into 4 negative 1 times. And now there's my y-intercept. All right, so my slope is 5 over 4. And the y-intercept is going to be negative 1. That's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, ran out of room, so let's go back and see if I could squeeze another point and go in the opposite. So instead of going up and to the right, I'm going to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my line. Okay, positive line. Next one. So if I want to get y by itself, right? Now let's just think about it this way for a second. So if I take the 4x and I move it over to the other side, right? If it's positive here, I have to subtract it. That means whatever it is over here, once I move it over, it's going to be at opposite. So if it's positive 4x, it's going to turn into negative 4x. Now y is by itself, and I have my slope. Remember, if it's an integer, you're going to put a 1 under it. And my y-intercept, I'm going to start at 5. Okay. So let's start at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start at 5. That means I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now be careful because the 1 is positive. So I'll go over 1. Now you notice I can't go backwards on this, but I could probably squeeze one more in here, right? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, down 4, over 1. You still get the idea that the line is negative, right? And it's going down. All right, two more equations that are not in, these are actually what we call standard form, okay? This is standard. I'm going to do one more video after this, and I'm going to show you that you could actually graph the equation in this form without doing all this. But sometimes the graph isn't as neat as these are. This is probably the more precise way of doing it. All right, so let's start with the 4x. We're moving it over to the other side, right? So if it's positive here, when we move it over, we have to subtract it. So when I move it over to the equal sign, it's going to become negative 4x, right? Minus 5. And now to get y by itself, so I have it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to divide everything by negative 5. Everything. Okay. Alright, so y's by itself now because these canceled out. Negative over negative is actually a positive slope. So it's going to be going up. Now notice this one. This is negative 5 divided by negative 5 would be a positive 1, right? Okay, we could get that baby graph now because we have the slope, right? And we have the y-intercept. So we are good to go. So we're going to start at positive 1. We're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right 5. We ran out of real estate, so let's go back to the beginning and go the opposite. So instead of up and to the right, down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of times you're going to know if you're doing it right because the dots are going to line up. And we said this is going to be a positive slope, so I always check that. Yes, it is. It's going up from left to right. All right, the last one. So I have 3x plus y equals 0. So again, I call this kind of the simple way. I'm going to move this over. Again, it's positive, so what does it become? Negative. Plus 0. Now you don't have to write the 0, because we know that that's going to be our y-intercept, right? So the slope, integer, so remember we're going to put a 1 under it, and the y-intercept is 0 or nothing. So again, we did this on the previous one. We're going to start at the origin. We're going to have a negative slope, because we're going to be going down 3. 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. Down 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we could go backwards and go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And to the left. So that is why it's negative, right? Because now I'm just making the 1 negative. Alright, let's connect these. Let's not make a big deal out of it. We've got a nice line going. I could tell it's negative from left to right. Okay. Going through the origin. I'm done.